The fight is on. Blackbeard and Law are putting it all on the line with their duel. Who will come out ahead? What's going on with the Straw Hats? We've got 3 groups to check in on. The action does not stop in one piece. Let's get to it. We open chapter 1064 right where we left off last time. Teach is flying right at Law, charging up the Gura for a quake-based punch. It's impressive for him to be able to hold it in the air like this. Law's focus, however, is on his crew. He is barking orders in no time, commanding Hakugan to get to the Polar Tang, and Shachi and Penguin to dive into the sea. All of his men snap to work. They just had a mountain thrown at them. This is not the time to question orders. But now that his crew are getting clear, Law opens his first room of the fight. Teach curses as the Surgeon of Death gets to work. Not messing around, Law goes straight for a deadly blow, using Amputate to slice Stronger the Pegasus in 2. That's enough to send the pair falling hard towards the ground. Doc Q curses, but Blackbeard is already grinning. Teach has finally witnessed the power of Law's awakened technique, and he is clearly impressed by it, but not worried. He knows Devil Fruit powers extremely well, and now he has an awakened technique of his own. Before the two of them can hit the dirt, Teach manifests a new ability of the Gura no Mi. Calling it Grash or Quick Grip, this is more of a defensive ability than the norm for Blackbeard. He suspends himself and Doc Q in a field of quick energy. It's enough to break their fall while lashing out at the Heart Pirates, scattering Law's crew and shaking the island, kicking up debris all over the place. Teach laughs hard as his enemies scamper away from the quake. Doc Q, however, seems in a gloomier mood. The Surgeon of Blackbeard's crew falls to the ground more awkwardly, annoyed at this initial strike from the Heart Pirates. Thanks to them, his horse may be dead. He lops a bushel of apples towards Law's men. This seemingly innocuous gesture is swiftly explained by a Heart Pirate calling on to the crew to take cover. These are bomb apples. Doc Q has more tricks than diseases, it seems. However, they won't be so easily used against Law's crew. Having finally reached the water, Shachi takes a second to prepare before spitting out a massive torrent of water. It's enough to keep Q's bombs in the air, the whole set detonating harmlessly above the battlefield. Grinning at his victory, Shachi calls out to Teach his crew. The Blackbeard pirates might be a Yonko's personal men, but they shouldn't underestimate the Heart Pirates. Law's men grew up in the freezing cold seas of the North Blue. They are accustomed to the water, the one area Teach's men couldn't possibly follow them into. Quick thinking and tactical fighting can even the odds against even the strongest Devil Fruit users. Back on land, it is Beppo's turn to demonstrate that. Yes, Beppo actually does something. He is defying all the memes today. Those adorable bear ears have picked up on Von Auger's teleportation, honing in on the sniper's new location as soon as he warped in. Immediately, Beppo shares his knowledge with Jean Bart, who is ready to protect Law. And Jean Bart means that. He very directly protects Law, putting himself between the captain and Von Auger. The big Heart Pirate is tough enough to straight up catch a shot, still standing tall. Even the usually impassive Von Auger has to acknowledge how impressive a defense that was. Law won't let his crew have all the fun, however. The Surgeon of Death goes for Shock Wily, impaling Teach before frying him from the inside. There's a subtle pun here. Shock Wily is likely a play on the German Shockwell, meaning shock wave, aka what the Gura no Mi causes when used in the air. Law is turning Blackbeard's attack back against him, and it is a brutal attack. Teach is left coughing up blood and his eyes go glassy for a moment. Von Auger, looking on, sighs. The Blackbeard sniper is more pragmatic than his boss and laments the idea of charging straight in. It was a foolish move from his Commodore to take on the Heart Pirates without gaining more intelligence on them. Still, Von Auger is here to get Blackbeard out of trouble. A simple 2 warps are enough to remove Teach from the fight, giving him time for a breather. Auger asks that they should return to the ship. They could leave Law's crew to the other Blackbeard pirates. Teach, however, dismisses the idea at once. He is Blackbeard, a Yonko, a great warrior. The only thing he can do in a fight like this is go forward. Von Auger knows better than to argue with his captain. One more warp, and Blackbeard returns to square off with Law, looking more determined than ever. Law is not worried about the fight picking back up. His crew have been doing well so far, and he knows his advantage to Teach. All of the Blackbeard pirates are Devil Fruit users. As powerful as they are in a direct fight, the sea is their clear weakness. They are going to have trouble facing the Heart Pirates in the water. And now, the Heart Pirates have their ship back at sea. With the Polar Tang, they can sink the Saber and just leave Teach's men stranded on this island. Blackbeard isn't worried about that, however. He is confident in the trade-off he has made. Some of his crew are a little bit less certain, however. We see that the Polar Tang is getting some good shots in on the Saber of Jabek. One crew member cries out, yelling that they hadn't been told the Heart Pirates were this strong on the water. Still, Teach's captains have faith in their leader. In the brig below, Vasco's shot shares as much with a prisoner. There might be pirates attacking them, but the whole fight will be over soon. Shot has faith in their captain and sees no reason to bother joining the fight himself. Their captive is not in the mood for levity, however. Charlotte Pudding snarks at the Blackbeard crew, claiming that if her mother was still alive, they wouldn't be blabbering on like this. Lin Lin would be wrecking the creeps who kidnapped her daughter. Shot doesn't dispute it, but Phil's putting in with a laugh. The guy they're fighting outside is the one who killed Big Mom. Not that Vasco cares. As he sees it, old legends have to get out of the way if the world ever wants to move forward. Now this is the closest thing we have had to confirmation that the underground magma chamber actually killed Big Mom and Kaido. However, it is coming from two people who weren't on Wano, so it isn't entirely set just yet. They could simply be making assumptions. The two Yonko lost the battle after all. Either way, we leave Vasco, Shot, and Charlotte Pudding there. Back with Teach and Law, the fight is starting to turn against the surgeon. Law has gone with a distant slash, using anesthesia to enhance the length of his blade. A good call given his foe's most notorious power. However, Teach has caught the blow with a Gura Gura punch. He is not playing around at this point. Law looks concerned as Teach activates Black Vortex. That alone could decide the fight. The Yami Yami no Mi's nullification ability will do a number on Law, especially after he expended so much haki last chapter. All Teach needs to do is get him into his grip, and Black Vortex is just the way to do it. Meanwhile, at Marine headquarters, the Navy have gotten a report of this confrontation. Sakazuki takes it in and bemoans not being able to intervene. This should have been his chance to take out a powerful pirate crew, hitting whoever wins the fight when they're tired. Unfortunately, he does not have the men to intervene in time. The world is continuing to spiral into chaos, and all the Fleet Admiral can do is stand around and watch it happen. Even he can't be everywhere. Over on Egghead, we find the results of the explosion. Officer Kuma has stopped his highly destructive pursuit, despite the Straw Hats being right in front of him. Thankfully, Bonnie had a quick thought to use her Devil-Fruit powers. The age shift was enough of a disguise to fool the Pacifista. The automaton has a downside. And just like we predicted previously, we've gotten to see Old Man Chopper again. Though this one is significantly less cute than the original. We also have Luffy going old, while it's Jinbei and Bonnie who have the younger look. And it's a little bizarre to see a teenage Jinbei. The team are all taking a second to recover from the brush with death, with Chopper and Jinbei consoling Bonnie. They hadn't realized Kuma was her father, though now it has been shared, it makes sense to them. Luffy's a little sore about what she did, but as a whole, the Straw Hats understand the problem. Jinbei is the one to start asking awkward questions. The first Son of the Sea asks Bonnie not to get angry with him, but he wants to know if her information is correct. With Bonnie and Vegapunk here, the truth could be important. As far as Jinbei knows, Bartholomew Kuma was known as an evil king, the vicious tyrant of the Sorbet Kingdom. The rumors say he was banished by his own people, forced out to sea. And that was when he became a pirate. Bonnie looks unhappy to hear all of that. Still, she doesn't interrupt Jinbei. Instead, she starts picking through a pile of trash as the fisherman finishes his story. Later on, Kuma joined the Revolutionary Army. However, the Marines captured him. He was sentenced to death for his past crimes, but Vegapunk was impressed by Kuma. He saw both extreme physical strength and potential for growth. It was then that the Doctor and Kuma made an agreement with the world government. Vegapunk making clones of Kuma and beginning the Pacifista program that allowed him to return to the sea as one of the 7 warlords. Now at this point, Bonnie seems more interested in the device she found rather than this conversation. This isn't easy to deal with. It makes sense she would try and focus on any distraction she could get. Jinbei has to ask her flat out if that story is true. After a second, Bonnie confirms the fact that Vegapunk's intervention let Kuma become a warlord. However, she claims the cyborg creation process was just a slow-motion death sentence, killing her father bit by bit. It was just trading one execution for another. Jinbei doesn't argue with that. However, he points out the logic of what happened, playing devil's advocate as best as he can. Kuma was a wicked tyrant, one so bad he was overthrown. He had to have done things deserving of a death sentence. This finally makes Bonnie snap. She lays into the junk pile with her newly discovered beam saber, yelling out that this was all bogus. Her father was never a tyrant. Kuma's only crime was hating the world government. There's no way he would agree to become their weapon. They had to have forced him into it somehow. Jinbei has no answer for her. After all, he doesn't know the truth of this situation. What more could he say? His fellow Straw Hats have been distracted. Even now that they're both old geezers, Luffy and Chopper can't help but marvel at how cool Bonnie's new beam saber is. They both gape at the destruction she has left after just one swing. Bonnie speculates that this whole scrapyard area is the broken remains of Vegapunk's past work. However, the beam sword seems to work just fine. Now that Officer Kuma has wandered off somewhere, Bonnie starts restoring the team to their proper ages. She complains as she works, however, and shares a bit more knowledge with us. Apparently, Kuma once told his daughter that he was part of some special race. That may have been what led to Vegapunk experimenting on him. However, Bonnie is unimpressed. That doesn't even come close to justifying murder. Luffy backs her up on that, while Chopper wonders aloud about this mysterious special race. Before this team can get any answers, however, we head over to the rest of the Straw Hat crew who are flying through the air. The Vega Force 1 has kicked a pair of powerful jet engines into gear and is carrying the Thousand Sunny into the sky. As Punk Lilith explains, the robot relies on that fancy jetpack coupled with some low-level anti-gravity to achieve flight. It is only possible on Egghead Island at the moment due to the island aircon Punk Atlas developed. Someday, however, they plan to make this usable anywhere. Perhaps this is setting up the Vega Force 1 to show up as cavalry in a later arc. The crew are passing over the area we saw last time, the semi-retro sci-fi cityscape. They can even make out the holographic monsters down below. From this vantage point, however, they can get a better look at Egghead as a whole. Punk Lilith smiles as she continues talking about it. It's got to be nice seeing people discover your workplace and getting all excited about it. The area below is half of Egghead Island. Above them, however, is not some kind of glass layer. It is a whole additional part of the island suspended on clouds. Vegapunk has been able to replicate Skypiea. Punk Lilith outlines the difference between the two areas, the lab and the pavilion. The cloud layer is Vegapunk's domain, while all their lab assistants live on the ground. The lifted area is what gives the island its name. It looks kind of like a cracked open egg, or a version of Pac-Man with fangs. As they go, Lilith hears a report about Luffy. She passes it on to the group. The other Straw Hats are relieved that Luffy is causing trouble. That probably means he is fine. And if Luffy is fine, so are Jinbei, Chopper, and Bonnie. The Vega Force 1 touches down on the cloud layer. Zoro and Brook are resolved to stay aboard the Sunny for now. And I must say, it is a little odd that Zoro is hanging back given his request to speak to Vegapunk last chapter. Was that some kind of bluff, or is he worried about traps? The rest of the crew are all too happy to head out, however. They are excited to discover the clouds are just like they were in the White Sea. Usopp, Sanji, Nami, and Frankie are all bouncing away merrily on it like kids on an inflatable castle. Only Robin manages to retain a little self-control. Dr. Vegapunk Lilith is happy to see them all having so much fun. It's strange to think that she was trying to hold them hostage not too long ago. She launches into a long explanation of how she pulled this off. That sails right over the Straw Hats' heads. It doesn't bother the Doctor, however. Moving right along, Lilith brings down the entrance to Vegapunk's primary lab. It is a retractable escalator sealed in a tube leading up to a blast door with Lab 0 written on it. Usopp is impressed with how flashy it looks. Before they can enter, however, Punk Lilith requests that they all get changed. There is a room right there for that purpose, with new outfits set aside for the Straw Hats. They even include special shoes designed to fit any foot. And thus, it is here that we see the Straw Hats' new looks for this arc. We just have Zoro and Brook left to go. Nami and Robin have what you'd expect. Oda will Oda, so fan service is a priority. Frankie, however, is reining his freak side in a bit. I'm not sure he has ever worn so many clothes. He even has his strange key-shaped cap to complete the look. Usopp is sporting a pretty standard SSG uniform, while Sanji is matching Jinbei's tropical shirt. Typical number 4 behavior, imitating number 3. All the Straw Hats save Sanji are down with their new look. Nami is hyped up to try out a new type of fashion. Usopp compliments Robin's look, pointing out that the gauntlets make her look strong. Sanji can't bring himself to praise Frankie. As far as he's concerned, the big cyborg still looks like a freak. Still, that's praise enough for Frankie. He thanks Sanji for the kind words. Inside Lab 0, Vegapunk Shaka is taking a Denden Mushi call. It's hard to read his face behind the helmet, but Punk logic is getting philosophical. He tells the caller that a genius can sometimes foresee the future. When you're smart enough and have analyzed all the factors in play, you can forecast likely possibilities. The stranger wonders where Vegapunk is going with this. Shaka doesn't mince words. He thinks that he may die soon. The caller tells Shaka to stop joking around, but it is clear he is not joking. He is just letting his friend know. And that friend is Monkey D. Dragon. Vegapunk, or at least Vegapunk Shaka, is in contact with the leader of the Revolutionary Army. Since this is Lab 0, it is hard to tell how long this has been going on. Did Shaka reach out to Dragon, or is he just continuing Punk Zero's friendship with the world's worst criminal? Either way, that's where we leave One Piece 1064. Wow, the Heart Pirates gave a strong showing against the Blackbeard crew. If they go down, it won't be easily. Still, with Black Vortex in play, Law may be as good as doomed. Do you think he has a way out, and how much has Vegapunk Shaka foreseen? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. As always, I'm SliceOfOtaku. Thank you all so much for watching, and have an awesome day. I love you.